We are programmed from an early age, all of us, to hear stories. And there's one crucial thing that happens when you hear a story that is essential, and I mean essential, if you are going to turn fear into greed. What do you think it might be? When somebody says, once upon a time, your brain, you can actually feel it in your head. You go into a sort of mode. What happens? There's one particular thing that happens when you're hearing a story that doesn't happen at other times. Can anyone guess what it is?
You listen.
Sorry?
You listen.
Sorry?
Stop and listen.
Say it again.
You stop and listen.
You stop and listen. Now, please, say this, shout it at me.
Not usually like this either. You stop and you listen.
Was that a shout?
Is it the right answer first?
No, I'm getting you to repeat the wrong answer because it's so much fun, because it is the wrong answer. Listening is a big part of it. It's good. Remember I said listening is important? Well, it's great that you can get people to listen. That's useful. It's not the most important thing. Other thoughts?
Credibility.
Credibility. That's almost exactly right. Now, what does the credibility come from when you're telling a story?
Belief.
It has to relate.
Very good. Belief. Belief. So what were you about to say?
It has to relate to your audience.
Well, yes, it does and it doesn't. I mean, a really good story would get them anyway. And I'll tell you the secret of that in a minute. Belief. Actually, what it is, when you listen to a story, you suspend disbelief. When you listen to a story, you suspend disbelief. Now, if you're trying to turn somebody's fear into desire, isn't that a really useful thing, to suspend their disbelief temporarily? I'm not saying lie, I'm not saying bamboozle them, I'm just saying at least get them to hear you out without criticizing you and without heaping the negativity on. And when you hear it as a story, you suspend disbelief until the story's done, because you're listening to a story. You can always judge afterwards, and people will. But at least for a moment, if you're telling a real story, people will suspend their disbelief. Now, a story has three parts. And if you're going to be crisp about it, you want really those three parts, in my view. I mean, you can look this up. There's a book called The Poetics. It's out of copyright, so you'll have to get it online. It was written by a guy called Aristotle, I think, so it's you know, the copyright expired a while back. But it basically talks about the elements of story. I'm going to give you The Poetics for Dummies, right? Because I'm too stupid to know the hard stuff. And here it is. You have to have a crisis. You have to have a struggle, the hero's journey, and you have to have a resolution. The hero gets the girl, or the girl gets the hero, or the hero or heroine gets the guy. You need a protagonist. That is whoever it is, probably your product. And you need an audience. And it's nice if the audience matches the story that you need, as you said. But you know, there's generic stories. The thing that will relate you to people, first and foremost, is the crisis. Now, in a business, the crisis should be the pain that your customer has that you solve. If you walk into a crowded room and you shout out at the top of your lungs, "I've discovered the cure for cancer," most people will then try and avoid you really hard. Oh my God, it's a nutcase. If you start with a big positive statement, people will immediately disbelieve you. They won't even listen to the rest of your statement. They'll go, "Oh, geez." And your ego may drive you to do that. Also, if the first thing out of your mouth is your company name or your name, hi, my name is blah, and I'm here from blah, blah, blah to tell you about blah, blah, blah. We've seen this movie before, but not for long. We leave. If, on the other hand, you walk into that crowded room and you go, oh, God, I've just messed up big time. Everybody is listening. They want to know. Bad news travels fast. Everybody wants to know when you screw up. If there is a pain, they want to investigate it. This is, I think, a survival mechanism because, you know, if I can find out how they messed up, maybe I don't have to. The crisis, the pain that you solve, beautifully expressed, is incredibly relating, it's incredibly relevant, and it is a great way to start the story. Now, being in Ireland, there is a pitfall. Do not have a story that goes crisis, 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 crisis. By about the second or third one, people will also leave. But you must have a good crisis. In the Coder Dojo pitch, I go, you know, magic. Any sufficiently advanced technology is almost indistinguishable from magic. And yet, in a time when we depend more and more for our very survival on the magic of computers, an entire generation of kids are growing up as muggles with no access to the power of the computer programs that we used to write and read at school. The crisis, it's right there. It's a nice, neat little crisis. It owns a word, magic. The next thing after your crisis is your struggle. Now the crisis is the customer's crisis. The struggle is your struggle. Right? What was your hero's journey? What did you have to do? You know, in the case of wine, I guess you had to taste a lot of wine. Part of the journey? Part of the journey. People might be a little jealous of that struggle. You could though say, but I also had to taste a lot of bad wine, which gets more and more to it, and then there's a whole lot of other struggles that you had to do. You had to study, you had to do this, you had to do, I don't know. In your businesses, you want the same thing. You want a crisis, a struggle, and a resolution. And preferably, you want to own an interesting word to start with. If the first word out of your mouth is the, we, I, am, they, are, so, it's a very common Irish one to start a pitch. So, boring, interesting words. First Coder Dojo pitch word, magic. What's yours?
Beat that bill. Beast that bill.
Say it really, stand up and say it so she can hear it.
It's beat that bill. Beatthatbill.com.
Okay, so your first word is?
Beat that bill.
First word is just beat.
Yeah.
Beat that. Try it again.
Yeah. Beat that.
And now twice as loud.
Beat that bill.
Was that twice as loud?
I go again. Beat that bill.
Is that better?
About as loud as I can go, I think.
Beat that bill! It's about as loud as I could go. You can do better.
Beat that bill.
Excellent.
All right.
Right, beat that bill. Beat. It's good. But that's the name of your company.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking on my feet there, so.
Yeah, but that's okay. Yours?
It's improved from there, Bill.
Yours?
Draft IT.
Draft. Does anyone like the word draft?
Beer.
Yeah, with beer. That's you know, you want it to be really interesting, and you want it to express the pain. You want it to be a precursor of the pain, if you can. What are you trying to solve?
I'm trying to solve a problem whereby professional design consultancy practices can't employ people. Too
Okay.
long-winded. I'll come back in a week.
Crisp, little. And again?
I'm trying to link drafting technicians with design consultancies worldwide.
Okay. Good. You could probably crisp that up even more. And can you see that the word trying is probably not useful in a pitch?
Okay.
Linking starved design consultancies with top quality design talent?
You were heard.
I'm just saying, you know, same words, just juggled a little bit, said with a little more oomph, but also connected. You know, people don't connect their words. They're sloppy with their words. And that's not crisp. That's not clear. And if you confuse them, you lose them. Any level of confusion is totally toxic to your sales, to your marketing, to your messages, to your PR, to your finances, to your bankers, to your backers, to your staff. And people don't get this. If you don't have a good, crisp story that everyone gets who works for you, you might as well leave. Because when you're not there, they're not doing what you think. And that is another great roadway to hell, paved with wonderful intentions and no clarity. Yours?
Children.
Good. Nice, interesting word. Can you say it about 5 times louder so everyone can hear?
Children.
Was that 5 times louder? Children!
Children.
Children!
Children.
Breathe from all 3 places. Children! Louder still. Turn it up, turn it up.
Children.
That's slightly better. You know, people consistently underestimate the amount of volume you need to get to the back of the room. You know, the crisis is going to always build a connection with your audience. You know, this is a tuning. The new ABC of selling is not always be closing, it's a tuning. Get connected with the crisis. And then be buoyant. Show people that you have done the hard work and you're still here standing and you're positive, despite all the no's. And then give clarity. And that's the C in the new ABC. Clarity. So attunement, buoyancy, clarity. Clarity in how they're going to feel at the end of it. If you can clearly show somebody how they're going to feel, how they're going to make money from you, that's fantastic.